Do a trick, Jamie.
Can't.
You don't know anything?
Ooh, around the world.
That's weak.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on that.
Look at that, Pete. Ooh, yeah, you're listening.
Well?
One thing I didn't have was the 311 watch. Yeah, but I brought everything else. I brought enough for. I was there for Sunday. I haven't said for Sunday, but it's been nothing. I talked to the deaf last night. Exactly what right away.
Not promising for tomorrow, but picking up on something.
It's 2 hours. Starts at 6:30? 7? 7? It'll be at 9. Perfect, just when high tide comes. Yeah,
Is where they're going to surfing right at this one?
Hey, Mike.
He's in charge.
Sitting on a scaffold or something? She just asked where. Just beside them one.
Yeah, good sleep. So then as well, it's all citizens. There is me.
Should go.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I should go get it.
That's go to the rules. Find out for certain. I think you're gonna have a little service.
They got white top.
Where they going?
It's
Slideshow.
got on here, stick and national food sticker and things like that.
Guys, you guys have any big ones?
Bring all those stickers in the window. And the folder.
They'll be hurt before they start.
I had this dream last night that Janice surfed in the team trials and she won.
Okay, it looks like we
and
got
Robin got
everybody
second
here.
and I got third, and I was all pissed off because Janice took my spot.
Everyone maybe have thought that I was going to put you through serious torture today, but that's really not going to be the aim of the exercise. The aim of the exercises today we're going to do to try and give some more. Really, what we're trying to do here is make you think about your surfing a little bit more than just being in heats. Because the best surfing that you do and the best surfers in the world when they're out in the water, really don't think about what they do on their waves. It just happens. It's like spontaneous. And more of what the thinking part of surfing in contests is about is actually getting yourself into position to get the good waves, so that when you get them, you take off, everything becomes automatic. So we're going to do a couple of things today. We're going to actually run, everybody's going to be in 3 different heats. And the 3 different heats you'll be in will comprise, the first one we're going to have is we're going to go out in the water in a heat, and you have a 10-minute heat. You're only allowed to ride one wave. You're allowed to ride one wave, and that's the only wave that counts. The idea of that is so that you think about wave selection and how important it is to catch a good wave. The focus that's happening in competition today is to the bigger, better wave with the biggest move. And that's why we're going to be doing that one heat. You've got a whole 10 minutes to get that one wave with the other guys that are out there. Once you get that one wave, you come in. So you've got one chance. So when you're standing here now and you're looking at the conditions, even there isn't too much out there, you've got to be thinking about, before you go in your heat, what are the conditions today and where is the best wave? What wave's going to get me the most points? What chance have I get to get the biggest wave out here right now, do the one big move and ride it the best I can, score the most points? So that's going to be the first exercise. Second exercise, and the way we're going to set these heats up, we're going to have regular foots in one heat and goofy foots in the other. Second part, two other heats, we're going to have going to be called backside and front side. Actually, Naya's got a little advantage in this because she surfed in Camp PT for 2 years, so she knows what's going on. But in those heats, when you go out, if you're in the goofy foot heat in the backside, you can only go backside. You have no choice. You go front side, you score 0. And the idea is that when you're out in the water in your heat, you want to be thinking about that there's no disadvantage on going front side or backside for you at any time. When you catch your wave, you've got to automatically be able to sense that you can take any direction and do the maximum amount of points and maneuvers on any one wave. And particularly in the trials that you're going to be in over the next 2 or 3 days, it's going to be in beach break conditions. And it's a little different when you're in a man-on-man heat because, you know, with the priority rule, you can actually make things work in your favor. But when you're in 4-man heats or 6-man heats, a lot of times you're forced into a situation where, yeah, maybe you would like to go on your forehand because you feel a little bit more comfortable, but because of positioning, you don't have a choice. You're going to have to go backside. And therefore, you've got to be able to immediately paddle into that wave with confidence that you're going to score as good of points as you would have if you had the chance to go front side. So in the second of the heats, if you're in it, if you're in the regular foot heat out here, you'll only be going left down the beach, and if you're in the goofy foot heat, you'll only be going right. And if you go the other way, you're just not going to score. Okay, and then in the last heat, it'll be on the front side, it'll be the reverse of that. So the idea in these things is to make you think about different options that you have in the water when you're out there. And when you're on those waves, it should just happen. You should be just able to rip those waves without thinking about what you're doing. The real psychology in competitive surfing is getting yourself into position to get the good waves. Because if you don't get the good waves, it doesn't matter how good you surf, you're never going to beat a guy that gets the good waves. It's time and time again proven. And the focus in the competitive arena today is going more and more back to the good waves with the big moves. So anyway, everyone, let's get in our suits and we'll get out there and do some things. I'll work out what we're going to do with the heats right now, and I'll call out the first heat. And a couple of guys going up there.
I'm not sure that he should go out with his head. He still has those stitches.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's up to him.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got the contest tomorrow.
So Dylan Christensen's out there.
You're hit by your board.
You got speared in the back of the head. You got stitches. He's going for a contest next week. Something like that thing did, huh? That was 5 minutes one way.
Conditions like there are today, and there's probably a good chance it's going to be like this tomorrow. one good wave can make the difference to whoever's going to win or lose a heat. That's one of the things that's important about what we're doing right here. That one wave, if you get it in that heat, is going to mean you pretty much win that heat, because all you basically got to do is get the other two to go with it. And therefore wave selection becomes real important with a really good mood. So we're going to start it right now. Everyone set their watch. You got 10 minutes. You got one wave. Once you get the one wave, you come in. Let's go.
There's 3 minutes in between these sets. Well, any surfable waves that come through here.
Then if you would finals 15 minutes, that's what they said. It's not there, but it's not quite a snap.
Yeah.
I imagine
you know,
a
that's up to
condition like
Mike.
this.
Mike's the competition director. You know, I can't make it.
Also on that memo you sent me, it's 15-minute heats even in the finals, right?
Right.
So it's top 3 waves the whole time, or is it 4 waves?
Three.
3 even for the final.
Wait, we haven't started.
Yeah, we started.
We started at 7:50, just slightly.
Did you start your watch?
Well,
Dennis?
I looked at it. It was 7:50 10. Figured out I once saw Creek here.
Like this?
I have this.
Oh my God.
I had that idea a while. 2 minutes. You punch it or you turn it?
How you turn it?
And the thing that's insane is now in all my sessions, I can't score how many waves I go.
I'm averaging 8 waves a session. The other day I had 22 waves in a session.
Count that many? Or you just count
You
it?
see what you go around, you go to 19.
Who makes that watch?
You freestyle one night. Okay, somebody going?
Oh,
It's Ryan.
That's Ryan,
Ryan
okay.
Simmons.
he's not in this one. Yeah,
Who's going? Well, we'll get all goofy, so we can have it. All goofies in this heat. All goofies.
It'd be hard to have one you can punch your score into.
Well, they're eventually going to turn this into where it'll be called digital run.
The score you think you
Yeah,
got.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, some people who think a little too much. We got some pretty good videos.
Of what? You were taking video?
Just look at it and just write things down.
Did you, you were there where? Oh, Sunday morning.
How many stitches did you get?
So you're not going to Hawaii?
Right.
Right, or are you going to Hawaii this? Yeah.
No.
During
Good
Christmas?
pump here, stuck in the nose and the board.
I talked to Scott Daly.
5 minutes
today.
before his heat.
Yeah.
The first heat.
Well, he was just waiting for that contest to start, and I said it's been crappy.
Yeah, I hear it.
That's what he said, told me.
Yes, it's pretty scrappy. problem?
What?
Wind glare? Always lays down. You can't see what's coming.
Does he ever say that?
Sometimes, but just take that. Sit up, be awake, you know, it's only 10, 15 minutes every drive. Just slap yourself if you have to.
There goes first rider.
There goes Colin.
Wags off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for him. What do you reckon, Combs?
What's your consensus?
In these conditions, 5-5.
Slightly above
what I
average, huh?
5. That's
Got one move in.
Yeah, that's cool.
One move, big set.
That was easy to go.
Yeah, now you got to work everything. You got to work everything off that. You got the wave and you got one move.
So I didn't know you were going to score and wide.
Can he stay out? He's asking.
No, he's got to come in.
No.
Gets in the way.
Well, that's going to
If he
be,
goes down the beach, go down the beach.
that's going to be an interesting battle.
Who is it?
Oh, it's, yeah, I guess, and Jack Shipley,
Oh, yeah?
Terry Love.
Becomes a little set. These guys hanging out. These guys are hanging out for the set.
Gaylene, yeah, no.
Becomes a winning wave in this heat, I'd say.
Yeah.
Who's going to be there? Leave a winning wave. Wasn't that a 4?
Huh?
Seeing that he's dead right, you see how England hang out, got that one way, and like this, you know, he blew it by falling off. He should never fall off on a wave like that, it's like that. Yeah, he should back off a little bit there. He already had the one good move for the takeoff. Remember, you got 10 minutes, one way. The way it looks, there's only one set. Pretty hard,
Okay, who are we looking for now, Rob?
Bob, yeah, Nan hasn't gone yet, that's right.
Comes
There's Naya right
Yeah.
there. On his mark.
Bob.
two moves. He should have waited the next wave. The next wave.
What do you reckon,
I didn't
Nara?
see it.
Didn't see it?
Nan's was
I'd
definitely
say it was the best wave. We did 2 maneuvers and never fell. Okay, next one up, set your watches. Evan, Hans, Ryan, and Gaylene.
Gayleen's already out.
She's already out there.
Where's Ryan?
Ryan's out there.
Here he's coming in.
She just stay out there?
Naya gets going.
We blew it.
Got a knot.
Tiny one.
No, she got away.
She get her hair wet. Got a day later.
Couldn't have got a good one if you didn't get your hair wet. Ryan, you got your watch set on 10 minutes?
I watched the book yesterday. I gotta wait till Christmas.
Okay. You gotta wait till Christmas.
Set.
Yeah, just stay down there, Rob.
See the bar.
Okay, let's go.
Run around.
Who didn't we have standing on the beach there?
She's out there and she set her watch.
Yeah. Monday, huh?
Yeah.
So Rob won that one, huh?
Jealous.
85-degree water temperature.
So jealous.
Don't rub it in.
Okay, we got all regulars this time.
Here goes Hans paddling.
Hans is paddling. Nope.
No, nothing. Just a lot of. And there's Rob with the winning wave there for sure.
It will definitely be good in these conditions, that's for sure.
I'd like to see
It will be on Sunday afternoon.
Monday afternoon.
Then Monday morning.
Is it back here on Monday morning, right?
It's back here on Monday in Oceanside Pier, but Sean said it would be good at the pier.
Back here on Monday was 16. Yeah.
If they have it on the south side.
Yeah. Shouldn't have fallen there at the end. You had the wave to...
Right. Got good stories. First they haven't lost in 9 years, and then he pulls out an article in the newspaper 3 years ago saying that they have 6 wins and 3 losses or something. Unfortunately, all the files
Oh. Good wave.
Good little wave.
Well, they have been leaking.
He couldn't even walk down Main Street. Oh, I thought everybody...
Rock must be on
Oh, man, he called and left a message on my recorder just screaming. We won. We won. Yes, we did. Oh, he's on that.
here in the morning.
You will, okay.
Alright, good luck.
Okay.
See you tomorrow. Are you coming down tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If I get a ride, I will.
Alright. See you tomorrow, Rob.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be down. What time? I'm going to that meeting tonight. I want to go.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I want to go get the.
I'll be here by 7 for sure.
I don't know. It'd be a good idea if you're around.
I have to go by our AADCs the first thing in the morning, and then
Okay.
I'll be there.
All right. I'll be here early. All right. Thanks, BT.
Okay, see you, Craig. Versus everybody else.
Stay warm, don't get you cold. You didn't charge it out there, huh?
No. Everybody's got a little bag here. I'll give them this stuff now. What these are is a series of different articles. They're not specifically all related to just going surfing. There are a couple of things that I've found through the years that just motivate you mentally to think about how to be a champion or how to win. They're not so much aimed at telling you how to do it in the water as to think about how to be a winner or a champion. One of them's called Winners and Losers. How winners think and how losers think. There's like 24 different things about what a way a winner thinks and 24 different ways a loser thinks. And they're good little things just to actually, when I was competing, I've had this one article for 20 years. And when I was competing, I used to read it every now and again just to remind me what winners think. And it kind of just stimulates you to think about that kind of stuff. And then there's a couple of other ones in here that actually, two of them I've actually wrote myself. And one of them's called Surf Like an Animal. And it's a type of thing, a visualization type of thing, where you're looking at the conditions, and particular conditions, depending where you are, can dictate certain ways that you surf. Like for instance, if we were all going to Australia today and going to my hometown and the Kura was 6 feet and reeling off for 300 yards, you don't normally think like the same way. You're going to be surfing down the line fast, looking for the barrel all the time. Whereas if you're looking out here, and it was really good, you're looking for more vertical maneuvers. I mean, you do one vertical maneuver at Kura when it's like that and the wave went by you at 500 miles an hour and you got one maneuver in. So it's an article called about Think Like an Animal. The other one is if you're an underdog, and sometimes you come into an events like this, and particularly in the case of this contest tomorrow, I mean, nearly everybody on this squad really is an underdog, probably except Rob, who's had the most, notoriety. But the guy that's not the underdog, without question, is Kelly Slater. So if you're in a heat with Kelly Slater, you're considered the underdog. And there's a couple of things in this thing here about being the underdog, how to deal with it mentally, you go out there. And then there's another article here by a guy that when I was starting was the world's best surfer, Nat Young. And it's more about when you're on the wave, how you got to not think about what you're doing. It should just happen. And that only happens from years and years and practice and doing some of the things that you just did then, and going out in surf sessions, and you want to try and do some of those things that we just did then in surf sessions sometimes. Go surfing for 20 minutes and say, I'm not going to go left, I'm only going to go right for the next 20 minutes. Just so it forces yourself so that you're in a situation, you might be in a hassle with someone for possession and a perfect peak, and because you don't think you're going to win the battle, you might have to go left. Well, if you go left, you shouldn't be thinking, oh, this is a disadvantage. The moment you're going left, you should be just thinking, it's going to happen and I'm going to beat this guy anyway going left. And that's the aim of trying to do those things that we're doing this morning, is just to loosen you up from always being locked into favouring one part of your surfing. You should always, in your surfing, accomplish, to be complete in every maneuver on any way you go as best as you possibly can. You should never consider any one maneuver of yours weak. If it is, you should work on it. I mean, if you think that right now your backside re-entry is weak, then you should go down the beach somewhere where it's closing out and take off on every wave and do a backside re-entry until you get it perfect. Because that's how good you have to be. I mean, when you get to the level of the Martin Potters and Tom Currans, they can go in any direction and do any maneuver perfectly every time, otherwise they lose. And that's the level they get to. And that's when you see it at the level, you go to the PSAA, and the PSAA guys are really, really good. But they get to that ASP level and they go up against Martin Potter and Tom Curran, and they'll make it through a few rounds, but then it comes to that one heat and they get blown away because they can't consistently do that maneuver solidly one time after another and make it happen. All right?
I could have used it last year.
Huh?
I could have used it last August.
You know, and another thing too is, as far as the team's concerned, I mean, I haven't been involved with an NSSA World Championship selection process since that one in 1984. And one of the things you can do to help all of yourselves is really push everybody else on the team. All right? It only reflects when somebody on the team does really good, it reflects on all of you. If one of you happens to go down early, and that's going to happen, not everybody's going to make it. If you're one of those people, you should be there making sure the other guys, you got your full support behind them. So if they do good, it reflects on you as part of the NSSA national team. And it's real important, and that kind of support can ultimately lift all of you. Because, you know, tomorrow when you all get here, there will be some definite groups who are going to be urging their own particular crew. And the more support you show for yourselves, it'll show through. It'll push you guys to go harder and stronger. And you should all just encourage each other and pump each other up. You know? It's an individual sport, but the team thing can really help lift individual performance, the support of the guys, you know. I mean, when a guy hits it, you know, you should be screaming and yelling. I mean, when he hits a good move, you know, give him a hoot, you know, and do the same thing for, you know, for everybody on the team when they're out there. Get them pumped up. Because ultimately what it'll do, if one of those guys does unreal, it's only going to force you in the very next heat to want to do better yourself. I'll give you a great example of when that happened to me. In 1974, we were in Hawaii, and we woke up and the surf was 40 feet, right? And Mark Richards at the time was 3 years younger than me. He was 15. I was 17, 18, yeah. And we got up and we were going to have to surf at Smirnoff at Waimea. We'd never been out at Waimea before. We get down there and there's closeout sets. And he's in the heat before me. Right? He's in the first heat and he goes out, and neither of us ever been in. He went out there and did insane, and I went, MR can do it, I'm out there. I went out there and I won the semi-final. I went to the finals my first time at Waimea. And I was the only non-Hawaiian to get in the finals. And that gives you an idea of if the other guy is doing incredible, it can make you lift your performance. Just by you pumped and motivated for him, you can get yourself motivated to do better. Okay, so good luck in the morning. I'll be down here and maybe we'll take a look at it and kind of, hopefully it'll be a little bigger. And if it's a little bigger, you guys will be on a whole better vibe than everybody else that's not here this morning. Because you'll go out there and you'll see lefts and rights that you didn't see today, and they'll be all going, oh God, it's so bad, how am I going to do any good? Right?